and welcome to LaDuke's Creations. I'm Charity. Today we're going to be making a bra. So this bra is the Mysa Lounge Bra, Bralette by Lily Pad Designs. I will link this pattern down below. It is a free pattern that I absolutely love. Um, I made a few of these and I love them. I did change a little bit of things. Like this one's got the full power mesh net, and then this one, um, is just got regular fabric with scuba net or scuba material. Um, so using the power mesh on this, it gives it a lot more stretch, like a lot more stretch. This one right here, it gives you a tighter, um, it has some stretch. It gives you that, and even up here, it's got a tiny bit of stretch. But this one definitely holds firm. Um, Absolutely love this bra pattern. So it is a free pattern, as I mentioned before. I do believe it's you sign up for their um newsletter or you subscribe to them. Um, and then you'll just go in and um you'll take your measurements, and then it's got these charts on the front of which pattern size you need and also the band size. Um, so my bra cup is a 42F. I know. Big ones. So I went in, put my measurements in, got my pattern, and I cut it out. So the pattern will come in 6 pages. It will include your cut pattern and your bridge. And then you'll get another one that it is 30 some pages long, but you can set your printer up and customize what pages you need. For instance, this is page 11 and 12 of that pattern. But one thing I do want to show you is that on pages 7 and 8, it's literally the same back wing as this one right here. Same measurements, everything. So, I mean, that's something to um, remember or look at when you're doing this. So, my first one that I done, and I did make some changes to this pattern, which I'll show you here in a minute, and I'll tell you why I made some changes. So that way, if you come across this, then you can revert back to the video and kind of walk you through it. Okay, so let me get these back together. All right, so this is my pattern. I retraced the pieces that I just showed you, and the cradle is the same. The only thing that I done different is if I don't have a big enough piece of fabric to fold it in half to make this cradle, I did add a quarter of an inch right here to be able to cut this two pieces, sew it together, and it still be the same size as if you cut this out on the fold. Um, Same back wing. So instead of having one big cut piece, I, at one time this was together just like this. So what I done was I just cut it and I had trimmed off some of the excess on top because I didn't really like how far up it went. I mean, it was almost touching my shoulders and uh, no, I'm good on that. So that's literally all I done was shortened the top of the bra down, and I cut the pattern in two pieces. Remembering to mark the points that you need to mark, because that's very crucial when you're piecing your pieces together. And then I tried a different thing with my back wing, like this one right here. Now, this one, you got your back wing. It's the same back wing. So the only difference I did is I cut it and I added a quarter of an inch on each side of it on that cut line. Because, like when I was using the power mesh on this one, there was a little bit too much stretch. Even with having it on the tightest setting, it was still too much stretch. And so it's something I tried out, um, and it works. You still have that stretch. This is my tester bra. So many things went wrong with this. First, I sewed my cups wrong. So the cups are supposed to be on opposite ends. Um, so the centerpiece right here is actually what's supposed to attach to your back wing. Um, I'm pretty sure I stretched my elastic too much, and that put a lot of ripples in there. Second of all, this is the part that I told you that I had cut down because there's a lot right there. So, and also what I done is, okay, this pattern calls for one cradle piece, but it doesn't call for anything covering up your raw edges on the inside. So what I done on this one is I used channeling um, to put in to hide those raw edges, and I also put some elastic right here to cover up that seam. Um, and I also used the wrong kind of sheer lining for the inside. So this one, it's fraying quite a bit in a couple different spots. It's just separating. And not cool. And I did use cotton batting as my bra padding because I'm not paying that expensive price for bra padding. Now when I use cotton and it still did the same thing. May not give that shape that you're wanting, but there's that padding. but I only used it in this one, and I didn't use it in the others. But I absolutely love this bra. So set this off to the side. So on this bra right here, instead of using one fabric for the cradle, I cut two cradle pieces. And that's what we're gonna be going over today. So in this new one. Um, these ones have no padding whatsoever in them, and they are awesome. Um, and then to finish off your straps, there's a couple different ways you can do it. So this one, I had tucked the fabric in and then went over quite a bit, right where that ring is. Does not look the prettiest, but it's going to be on me and I don't mind that. This one, however, I took some extra fabric that I had to cover up these pieces right here, this fraying from the cotton, quilting cotton, and I made like a little enclosure for my bra strap. That's another way that you can do it, which we'll be doing this today with the new the new one I'm going to be making today. Um, this one I did use the underwire channeling to cover up all these raw seams. And this one I ended up using cotton jersey on the inside. On both of these, I got cotton jersey on the inside. And I also used that on the cradle piece on this one. Now this one is just got the regular um, quilting cotton, same as the front on the inside on the cradle. So it's definitely, you can get very creative with these. And that's one thing I absolutely love with this. You can try different things out, see what works, you can change it, stuff like that. So let me get my machine up and ready and we'll get started and walk you through it. Alright, we got the sewing machine all set up. So now we're going to get our pieces pieced together. So on your, let me grab my pieces real quick. Okay, so on our pieces, we have these marks right here. Those are where we want to mark on all of our cut pieces. And how I do it is I put a pin. I don't know if you can see that one because it's kind of matching the fabric. I just put a pin in there to mark it on all of them. And then what I'll do is take your pieces that go together and you'll line up those marks with each other. You'll take one pin out and you'll use that other pin to put in there. And then you can go through and pin all the way down. And so I usually will pin at the very beginning and then again at the end and then kind of work it from there just to make sure that everything's lining up, everything's catching the way it's supposed to. Make sure you use lots of pins. And you'll go through and do this for both your main fabric that's going to be on the outside and also your lining for the inside as well. And as you see, that point meets where it's supposed to. Right, there's one piece done. So we're going to go through and we're going to do the rest of these. And when I come back, um, we'll sew one together and then we'll go through and sew the rest of them together. All right, we got our pieces all pieced together. And so now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to piece this together or stitch these together. So all the seam allowances on these are 1/4 of an inch. So once we get this part sewn, we're going to flip it out and we're going to do a top stitch along that seam, setting that seam off to the largest part of our cup. Okay, so set these two off or three off to the side and the machine over. And this is just a straight stitch that we're going to be doing. All the piecing is going to be a straight stitch. Alright, so get set right here. Make sure you backstitch. Alright, stitch. And like I said, we're gonna be pushing this seam. I don't know if you can see it. This seam right here off to the largest part of our cup. And we're just gonna be top stitching it down. So about 1/8 of an inch. And just like that, we're all top stitched down the front. And then our piece is held down on the back. Trim down our threads. And we're going to be doing that to the other 3 pieces as well. So I'm going to get that done and then we will be right back. Alright, so now that we have all of our cups sewed together, well, pieced. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to find our lining piece. And we're going to get everything, well, no, trying to skip ahead here. Huh. Okay, so set your lining pieces off to the side. And with your smaller pieces are going to be on the inside. Your larger pieces are going to be on the outside. So you're going to put them just like this. And you're going to find that straight edge before this curve. Okay. I'm going to put a couple pins in just to hold it in place. Okay. Then you're going to sew down a quarter of an inch on that one. And then we're also going to be doing the same thing with our um, lining pieces as well. All right. So your little part inside, your bigger part of your cup outside. Okay. We're going to face them together. And then we are going to line up our straight edges right by that curve. Just like that. And so you see how our seams are lined up and we have this curve right here. And then we have the straight seam and then it starts to curve. You want this straight seam right here. Okay. So we're going to get both of these sewed together. Straight stitch at a quarter of an inch. I usually take these out as soon as I get up underneath my foot. Now I have blue thread in right now and I'm going on white, but you're not going to see it because it's going to be on the inside. So I'm not worried about that. Okay? Just like that. Your threads. You see? Can't see it. Run down the threads here. Alright, now you can push that up out of the way. Alright, so now that we have our piece together. Alright, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our print down. If you're using print, if you're using lace, your main fabric down, face down. And then we're gonna take our lining piece and make sure that your seams are on the inside, so that way we'll be closing up all of the raw seams. And then you don't have to do this step. I do. I will throw in some pins just to make sure everything's gonna line up and kind of keep everything together as we're going through these other steps. You can clip these too if you prefer clipping. And then one thing that I do is I will line up the center and I'll put a pin in. And also do that with the bottom too. Okay. So now that we have that, we can grab our cradles and we'll get those tacked on. Okay, so you're gonna have one that is going to be placed just like this. So that way when we turn it, it'll be facing out like that. Now this is the part where clips come in handy because we're gonna have 4 layers of fabric trying to come together. So I'll usually get this one on and get it pinned down, and then around these curves I use a pin, and then we'll go through the, I'll do one side and then I'll do the other side. So that way it kind of makes it a little bit easier. This part you want to use lots and lots of pins or clips. And it's fine if it starts bunching up on the inside, um, as long as, you know, everything's even. Like you see this this little bit of lining fabric. I'm not worried about that at all. Not at all. And that's just reminding me that there's extra fabric right there. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. We'll line it all up. This center part is the trickiest to finesse. Alright, so now that we have that, we can now attach our front piece. So our front piece, which is going to be on the outside, so we'll find our center part, and then we are going to do the same thing as we did on the outside. So we'll get this, this is going to be stitched down at 1/4 of an inch, and then um, we'll keep going to the next step. So we'll bring our machine back. This part you want to take your time and make sure that you're catching all 4 layers, and you'll have to shift around some fabric and um, stuff like that. So We'll place our Bralette. Okay. Now our next step is we're going to be doing a top stitch all the way along this. Alright. So that's gonna hold this down. And as you're sewing it, if you're using 2 layers like I am, make sure that you pull both of them and make sure that nothing's getting sewed up underneath that's not supposed to. That's happened to me. So, and then as you can see, when we do this, we're encasing this seam right here. So all that fraying or whatnot is going to stay on the inside. All the ugliness will be on the inside. All right. So we're just going to go through and we're just going to top stitch all the way down this. So now that we have these, which is our bands, our back wings, our back. So this is going to be our outside. All right. So that goes to that side. So we need this one right here. All right. So we're gonna want to line them up with our edge over here on the side. We're gonna use our pins that we have right here to attach them. And then we'll add more down towards the bottom. Okay, so you see how we have this excess right here. That's fine. Leave it, and I will show you what we're gonna do with that. Because again, we're gonna be using this extra to conceal our raw seam that we have, our raw edge. Alright, so now that we have this side on, we're gonna take our piece right here and we're going to attach it to this side. Okay, so you're gonna do this to both sides of your bra. And take our other piece. When you put these on, make sure that your um your straight piece that's not slanted is on or facing towards the bottom of the bra, and your angle is up at top. This part with using two, it's going to conceal your raw edges. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to sew this down at 1/4 of an inch. Once we have that step done, we're going to take both pieces, lay them out just like this, and we're going to pull them tight and then top stitch those down as well. Um, I mean, at this, you don't have to top stitch if you don't want. I do because that's just me. I think it looks better. Um, so we'll get this done and then we'll come back for the next step. So something I want to add really quickly, um, before we get to this step. Now, if you wanted to, you could fold these down up into your other pieces. So let's say we take this pin out, okay? You'll want to match your piece up with your fabric, the edge of it, just like that. Put your pin back in, and that's gonna hold it. in that spot. And then it'll just make it easier for when we close this up all the way down. So that way we're encasing these raw edges. Or you can just sew down it like it is. And then we can fold it. Oh, like that. And then up again. But the downfall with that is it's going to create a lot more bulk than what you really want. Especially when you're going to be sewing your bottom elastic in. So that's what I'm going to do on mine is I'm going to tuck them up in so that way when I sew the wings on, it's going to get tacked down right here and it's going to make it easier folding these in side of each other just like that. Or you can just straight up cut it off all the way across. I just find it easier doing it this way so that way I'm not throwing anything off balance. So that's what I'm gonna do. And then once I get that done, clip it all the way down so it's nice and even. So that way when we go to attach our band elastic for down here, it's already ready to go for us. Okay, so we'll do that and then come right back. All right, so now that we have our bands on, not our bands, my bad, our back wings, we're now going to focus on getting our elastics on. So what I am using is a 1/4 inch elastics. This has a shiny side and then it's got a dull side. The dull side is soft, so that's what you're gonna want facing up. Snip that. And what we're gonna be doing, we're gonna we're gonna start on our inside here. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna line it up just like that, right up, right along the edge with the soft side up, shiny side down. And then we are going to go to a zigzag. I'm using number 6 on my machine, the default. I'm using the length and width as the default, which it's 1.0 in length and 5.0 in width. That seems to work for this size, and it's also the size that I use for the the band itself. Alright, so now this dip that we have right here in the center, this part, is a little tricky. So when you get close to it, or you get your needle right there in the center, lift your foot up and pivot and then continue to go. And it'll give you that V that you're wanting right there. And you'll do the same for when you flip this over as well. And having these pins also right here, it's going to help you keep everything aligned as well as you're going. Um, just make sure that you don't pull too tight. Just, just barely, just barely pull your elastics right here so you're not getting that bunching like I did on my first one. All right, here we go. You want to get as close as to that the left side of that elastic as you can. We're getting closer and closer to that center. Up and go just a little bit more. Now pick it up, rotate, get our elastics lined back up, up, down, and keep going. Just want to keep making sure that you're going through and adjusting and making sure that everything's lined up. Scissors, up and cut. So if you have any loose strings like this, you can just go through and trim them down. So that way when you're flipping it over, you're not seeing that. Alright, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip this around and we're gonna do a top stitch. So we're gonna be securing it to the back. So when you get done sewing it, what you're gonna see this elastic just barely peeking over. Just keep making sure that you're pulling your fabric under and making sure that you're going to be able to see this elastic on the other side. I never. Then your neckline will look like this when you get done. So I'm gonna go through and trim up some threads. Okay, so our next part is we're going to put our elastics on the outside. I'm just gonna uh, scale this part down a little bit, just like that. Sure that I get some pins put in here just to kind of make sure nothing's going nowhere. Alright, so I'm gonna do this side. We're doing it literally the same way as we've done the neckline. And as soon as I get that done, I'll be right back. So this is what your bra should start looking like once you get your top elastic on. Okay, so now we're going to be working on the bottom band. Okay, so the seam allowance on this bottom is 3/4 of an inch. So that's the elastic that I'm using. Really like using this thicker kind because it seems to be, it holds tighter. And it's, to me, I think it's just better, especially being on an underband. So what I do with this is I just go and melt the end so it stops it from fraying. And then we'll grab our machine and beat this in. And just like all the others, we're going to start right up here at the top, on the top side of our bra. We're going to be doing this the same way as we done our top. So we're going to get this stitch down, zigzag stitched on the top. Then we're going to flip it and do another row on the other side. So I'm going to get that done and I will be right back. Over on the bands, I usually use just a little bit of, I'll pull the elastic just a little bit, not too much. And then um, around the cradle, I don't. Alright, so let me get this done and I will be right back to join. Alright, so now that we have our underband on, we are going to set this aside and we're going to work on our straps and hook and eyes. Um, so with the hook and eyes, where we're going to start first and then we'll come back. So your hook and eyes, or your hooks, are always going to be on your right side of your bra, just like that. Alright, and then your eyes are going to be on your left side, just like that. So, it's one of two ways you can do this. You can go ahead and sew the sides. Mine are off of a long tape. And you can cut it down to size, you know, two, two wide or three wide, four wide, whatever. Um, you could sew down the sides and then put your band in, or you can just sew down the edge of it just like this. Um, I usually don't fuss about the sides, 'cause this doesn't fray or whatnot. So I don't ever worry about that. So what I do is I'll grab a clip and clip them on the ends. And then to make sure that this does not slide, I'll grab a pin. Sometimes it can be kind of hard getting it through there. And slide it up just like that. It'll hold it in place while I get this one prepped and ready as well. Just gonna cut that little bit off right here. Then same thing, we'll clip it, get everything up in there. Then I'll run it through the sewing machine and stitch it as close as I can to these, or about an eighth of an inch in. And I'll just go back and forth a few times and it's good to go. So we'll get that done real quick and be right back. We got that done. We have our attachments on. Not going for. Alright, so now we're going to work on the straps. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're going to sorry, get started and on. Alright, so what you want to do is you want to take your piece like this and one of your elastics. Okay, you're gonna go up through one, and then you're gonna go up and over that middle bar. Okay, so now we need to attach this. So what I do is, let me think here, is we're gonna do a straight stitch. You can either use a straight stitch or you can use your zigzag stitch that looks like a lightning bolt and put it on your lowest setting that'll go on your machine. And you can go over it a few times like that. I'm just using a basic straight stitch and I'll go over it a few times. Got any loose threads? You can take your scissors and just cut that excess off. Okay. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a ring on. All right. Now we're gonna go back up through there. Make sure that your strap's not twisted. Okay, so there's one strap done. Come over here and we'll repeat the same thing on this strap. I'll use that buckle as a guide to go back and forth, and it'll keep your line straight for you. Just scissors. Right. Same thing, put our hoop on. In, and over, and out. Okay. Now you can adjust these where they're the same. Or you can just wait until you get it on the bra itself. Alright, just like that. Same length. So, this is the last part is putting our straps on. Okay, so you can either um, loop them in like this and secure them down, which I'm going to just because it's going to be a little bit easier. Um, and if you use pins, just be prepared. You may bend some, putting that right there. them in. Or like I said, you can take a piece of fabric piece like this, um, like your main material, and make it cover to close up this. I'm not too worried about it. So once you have that on, ow, things always gets me. Okay, just put them on like that, and then we'll jump over to the machine and we'll get them on. And just make sure that you're very aware of where your ring is, so that way you're not hitting it. And then take our pin out, get it up and under, start sewing a straight stitch across a few times just to make sure that it's pretty well secured. Now this part you may want to use a coordinating thread that matches your front, so that way it's not showing through. I am, for the purpose of this video, I'm not worried about it, so that way you guys can see it. We're stitched all the way across. Okay, that's one on. We'll get this other one on. Now, obviously, you would take your time and make sure that, everything's looks good, but I'm not too worried about it. Mine anyways. Okay, so now that we have our straps on, okay, for this part, I will take my strap, put two fingers from the edge of this in. That way I know that's where that needs to be at. Do the same thing on this side. So 2 fingers, secure it in place. Then I can unsnap this and then adjust because we want these to be straight. Okay. And I'm going to take it over to the machine and secure it down with the straight stitch on both pieces. So this side, need to bring it down just a little. Don't worry, we'll fix this wrinkle right here. Take this out, make sure everything's straight, and then straighten. Alright, and so let's get these back on. So my pen's all over. it up. And there you have it. You have officially made your Mysa bra. And these are great for women who are sensitive to underwires, like I am. Underwires suck in my book, they hurt. Um, so this is definitely a game changer, especially if you make it yourself. Um, so this is one of the, like I said, this is a free pattern. I will link everything down below. Um, so make sure that you check that out. If this video helped you, um, like and subscribe to my channel, comment, um, let me know if there's anything I could have done differently or better or whatnot. I'd love to hear from you guys. So I appreciate you watching and God bless.